Greetings, fellow investors, and welcome to another edition of Marketing Monday. And I am here with the master of disaster, Mr.
Dev Horn.
Dev Horn. And, I'm more excited actually about this video than I have been in maybe since we've ever been doing these, because we're going to talk about the psychology of successful investors. And the first thing I want to do, guys, I want to give you a book you have to get, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini.
Oh, yeah.
This is an education.
He's the master.
This is an education in human psychology for about $12. Go to Amazon and get this book, all right? Because I can tell you, as a student of psychology, this is amazing. This is great stuff.
Cialdini's work is, check him out on the internet. Bunch of stuff out there. The guy's
he's
a master.
He is a master.
But, Mike is psychotic, so psychology is natural.
It's a natural for me. I've
natural,
always been this way. But anyway, I know there's 5 or 6 characteristics, I guess you could say, that we're going to get into.
Well, today, we're doing 2 shows, right? Today we're going to talk about the psychology of the successful investor.
Right.
The other show coming up next week, the psychology of the home seller.
Right.
And so, we're going to talk about kind of those who are a great fit to our solution. What made them a great fit?
Yeah.
And so that'll be next week. But so this week we're talking about you guys, the investors, and
watching right now.
And traits of because the thing about Mike and I, we have I always say we're not the guys you want to look to for the real estate knowledge. We're the guys you look to for the marketing knowledge. But the thing is, we know hundreds of real estate investors. We have many of them in the We Buy Houses system who are professionals and been doing it for years. One guy, Mike Anderson in Tucson, has been flipping houses for over 40 years, over 1,000 rental properties.
Incredible.
And so what we've seen is successful investors, and after a while, you start to notice what's
certain
similar
characteristics.
what are the characteristics? And it's not. And one thing that we'd say at the onset is that if you look at our list and say, "Well, I only have half that," or "I'm not that kind of person," maybe it's just that you have strengths that need to be married to someone's strengths,
right?
Who has these traits?
Exactly.
So it's. I think that would be the way I look at it. It's not like whether you be good or not. It's do you. If you're, for example, we'll talk about things like, are you a risk taker? Some people are not risk takers, and that makes it'd be hard. It'd be hard to start this or any
risk
business,
averse,
right?
Absolutely.
And so, but risk takers like number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Let's kind of start. What do you think is kind of one of the top traits that you see in all these successful guys that
I think just being entrepreneurial minded is probably a huge asset. I've always been, always looked for opportunities, and I think that that being totally risk averse negates that potential as an entrepreneur.
They really do go together.
They do, because if you're not willing to roll the dice, which I have, not knowing if I was going to have income that week or not, or that month, rolling that, knowing that there's a bigger opportunity out there. It's tough to make it in this business. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't start part-time, which a lot of people do. They already have an established job, maybe a salaried job, and they start doing deals part-time, and you absolutely can do that, because maybe you build up enough confidence to go full-time. Right? You know what I mean? I think that, and that could be in anything, not just real estate. I think, though, that having that mindset of, there's something, I don't want to work for the man. Is that what
that's it. These guys do not want to get up in the morning and go to a desk job at a corporation. I think that's true. But like you said, a lot of people may feel that way. But do they have the risk taking, the risk taker, the tolerance to taking risk? And the third thing that we were talking about earlier was ambition. Do they want to accomplish more than they have today? And so it's kind of like, I don't want to do that corporate thing. I am able to take risk. I'm tolerant of that. I understand that risk, the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. And I am ambitious. I want to accomplish something that's that's bigger, better than where I've been. And when you see those three traits working together, it's
Right.
very powerful, because now you've got somebody who has the ability to take the risk and start a business.
Right.
And I've always said that this, guys, if you've been in real estate for a while, you know what I'm talking about. Like, this is a business, right? And if you're newer to it, it has all the same traits of a business startup.
No,
that
it
you'd
absolutely
expect.
does. And look, when you're in a situation where no one's making you get up in the morning, you don't have to be at a designated job at 9 o'clock in the morning. It takes motivation. It takes ambition. Honestly, I get up, 4:30, 5 o'clock, go to work out every morning. It's just part of it, right? And I think you just have to be ambitious and driven. But back to your initial question, I just think having that mindset of doing something, building something on my own that I can be proud of, and like you said, if your strong suit is not, working with people, if you're not a people person, there are people out there that you can bring.
Well, that's really, I'm looking at it, we have a hidden list, but that's
the
fourth thing is the people oriented.
Yeah.
Like, you're a people person.
Yeah.
So you're entrepreneurial, you're a risk taker, you're ambitious, you want to accomplish more, and you love people. You love to talk to people, you love to meet with people, you love to hear about their issues. And so I think being a people person is extremely important in this business. And those who aren't often struggle, because the investor who's very likable, very social, very comfortable to be with, he will have a higher degree of success, or he or she, than the one who's not comfortable in a situation talking to people.
And
sitting
something
at
else
their kitchen
too,
table.
having a servant's heart. I think wanting to help people
Right.
is a massive advantage, because and we go back to empathy again, but you understand their plight and you truly want to help them out.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of cases, guys, there's not another option whether it's financial or medical, there's not another option for these people, and you could literally, you're there to step in to help.
Right.
Not to mention refurbishing a home that helps the other homes in the neighborhood, the appreciation. If you've got, a house that's run down in the neighborhood, you're doing a great service. Yeah. I think people lose sight of that we do a great service. Our licensees do a great service.
It's how neighborhoods do get restored. Ultimately, if they go downhill, or houses on streets that ultimately someone has to step in, take the risk, put the investment capital in, hope they'll get that capital back in some reasonable period of time, and that's kind of where the risk
comes.
One of the things I was going to say about risk I've seen, this idea of being risk averse. One place that we see it is in people scared to make investments in marketing, and I'm not talking about investing in We Buy Houses or buying anything from us, but just marketing. Like,
absolutely.
People sometimes they'll say, "I want to start a new business," and they'll start talking about, I got like $1,000 or $500. Well, that's not enough money to start marketing a new business. And the reality is they may have access to enough capital to do that,
right?
But they just want to start very, very in a very meager way.
Yes.
And so those types of people tend to always, anything that doesn't go the way they thought, like, right. and they'll say, I mailed 500 postcards and didn't get a deal. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you realize how hard it is to get a deal? Absolutely. It's not 500 postcards, right? And so I do think, the people today, what I see, I was talking to Travis, and we're about to put, Travis Schur is our licensee, him and his wife Janie in Las Vegas. And we'll be putting out a show in the next week, an interview of them. Yeah. And they have achieved phenomenal success. I mean, more than anybody I know. I would say, as far as a couple of people flipping houses.
They've had anywhere from 200% to 400% growth
every year.
Every year that they've been with We Buy Houses.
And so I don't want to.
I know.
Because it's in the video. You'll hear about their success. But the point is, he's up to where now he's spending $30,000 a month in marketing, in lead generation, in brand building. Now, the deal is he didn't start there, and it kind of built as the business grew. But at some point, you have to realize that it's a pay to play. I gotta be out there with my message in order for people to hear it, engage with me, and for me to ultimately get it.
And look, just so you know, Travis was my first licensee, and there was trepidation. It wasn't easy for him to make the decision to join We Buy Houses because they already had a successful business. They're a husband and wife team, but they saw the value in the brand, and they said, you know what, we're gonna roll the dice. They went all in, and boy, have they gone all in.
Yeah,
I mean, it's paid dividends.
I do on our list of traits, and we'll put it up and summarize here in just a second. But you had already kind of started to speak to it, is that the final one was being a problem solver. It seems like. Not only are these, because you said having a servant's heart, wanting to help solve a problem. Well, so we're talking about people, a people person, or people, if you will,
people
that are problem solvers. They, one thing that I've seen in this area of real estate that's different from, say, brokerage. In brokerage, it's a relatively known transaction type. And it's a purchase and sale, and it's being brokered, title company, the whole nine yards. Over here on the investing side, you will see all kinds of solutions where people might assume the seller's loan for some period of time. Different types of solutions, and like one that we saw in Boise recently, Bob Shaw and JJ Clark. Not JJ. Boise.
It's
Sam Butler. Sam Butler. Basically, what they did is the mom had the house that needed to be sold. She was elderly. The daughter wanted to build on an addition for the mom. They gave the mom the cash for her house, allowed her to stay in it while the daughter built the addition onto her home. When it was ready, the mom moved out. Sam and them went in. Took possession of her home,
it's great.
Solved a problem, right? That's not a traditional real estate transaction.
Exactly, traditional realtor.
So let's just, we're going to put up on the screen the traits, and we'll just summarize them real quick. Why don't you go ahead, Mike, and summarize the 5 traits.
I think
that
first
we
is
spoke
being,
about today.
have an entrepreneurial mindset. Then there's also, which means being a risk taker to some degree, right? There's you got to be ambitious. Go out there and that carpe diem, seize the day. You need to be a people person. We call
you guys got to be people
person. Okay, and look, you need to be a problem solver.
Yeah.
You're there to give them solutions, and as an investor, that's the great thing is you're able to give them multiple solutions to a problem, and not just have one way of doing things. And sellers really, really appreciate that.
I think it allows us. I always say that. It's great when you can go in and talk to people and be kind of a consultant and say,
it's a great feeling.
Tell me about your problem, here are your possible solutions, and honestly lead them to the best one for them.
So one more time, go get this book, Psychology of Persuasion, Influence, Psychology of Persuasion, Dr. Robert Cialdini. I first read this probably 25 years ago, but this is a revised edition, but well worth the $12 or $10 that it costs.
Spike the audio, but that's okay. No,
that's okay. That's all right.
Now that is great book. Great recommendation.
Yeah, it's awesome. So anyway,
all right,
hopefully that helps,
guys.
guys.
For today. If the psychology of the successful real estate investor, that's what they look like to us.
Notice we put the word successful in, not just any investor.
Of
successful investors. All right, that's it. We'll wrap it.
All right,
man.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Boom.
Anyhow.